Hi, my name is Nick Sands, and I have plantar fasciitis. Welcome to day number 6 of the 1,000 Words for 1,000 Days podcast. Let's get into it. As kids, we are at our most creative. Ask a kid to spin you a yarn, and he's going to unload the most unhinged, nonsensical shit you have ever heard straight into your ear holes without missing a beat. Ask them to draw something from their imagination and then explain it to you, and they are going to draw some dark, terrible, subconscious horror brought on by their dad's alcoholism, or a bunch of farm animals having a pie-eating contest in a spaceship flying through Vermont. Their imaginations are so ungrounded in reality, it's enviable. But kids grow up. For many of us, as we got older, our imagination and lust for life was mercilessly and methodically squeezed out of us. We lost the ability to seamlessly access the imagination that in our youth was such an integral part of us. Weird high school years, social pressures of conformity, the relentless march of time. As we continued to age, we got further and further from that essential piece of the human experience, the ability to create. I know I did, although I will say I probably lost it less than most. I was very lucky in that my parents had encouraged the arts. I didn't go to college, so I didn't have as much of the merciless and methodical squeezing happening. And I spent a lot of my time around bands and artists, and so while the flame was certainly reduced, it wasn't snuffed out entirely. I know it was in many of my peers. The thing is, though, that human beings are, in every fiber of their being, creators. I learned to express myself, and when I couldn't, it took a heavy toll on my happiness. The problem is that after I had spent years suppressing that desire and ignoring my creativity, it had grown feeble. So when the time came for me to try and use it again, and I saw that it was no longer second nature, I was afraid that whatever I made wouldn't be good. And that would confirm the larger fear of mine that my creativity was lost forever. Or maybe, deeper than that, if my art sucked, or maybe I just wasn't enough. What I failed to grasp at the time was that creativity operates much like a muscle. Neglect it and it atrophies. Utilize it regularly and it grows stronger. In fact, creativity surpasses muscles in one key aspect. It doesn't require rest days. What I ultimately discovered is that if I created every single day in whatever my chosen medium was, that every day it would be easier to access that part of my brain that was capable of making things. I know what bullshit advice that seems like. Trust me. Especially on the internet, you can't throw a rock without hitting someone who will tell you if you do something every day, you'll get better at it. No shit. Then why don't we follow that advice? The reason I didn't came down to one word: vulnerability. Creating art, whether it's a painting or making dumb videos on the internet, is to take a piece of yourself that isn't normally on display and bring it out into reality where there's nowhere for it to hide. Rejecting my art is, in a way, rejecting me as a person. And while I don't want to speak for everyone else, rejection sucks, especially when it's the kind of rejection that is directed at your true self and not the mask that we all wear every day. Getting punched in the face is less painful than someone telling you that your artwork is subpar. And what's even worse than that is if we look at something we made, that piece of ourselves we brought into reality, and we think it sucks. This fear held me back, and it wasn't until I moved past this that I was able to access that part of myself again. Here's the crazy thing, though. The reality was that the more people I showed my work to, the more people seemed to like it. Don't get me wrong, I've gotten plenty of hate, but that hate has always been wildly overshadowed by kindness. What's more is that it led me to connect with people. At the end of the day, that's what art does. It brings people together. Now I'm about to say something super unpopular, so get ready. If you are an adult and you're thinking about starting to try and access that creativity again and embarking on a creative journey and you don't know where to start, consider doing photography because it's easy. Now, every photographer I've ever met is ready to stab me, but hear me out. If you pick up a pencil today and you draw a circle, your circle is going to look like shit. If you take a picture of a ball, that picture is going to look like a ball. It will take a lot more effort to make your drawing look like the things you want them to than it will to make your photographs look like reality. Most people think their art sucks because it doesn't match the picture in their brain. To the average person, abstraction means nothing and realism is everything. And so if they can make their art look real, it will be easier for them to continue without getting frustrated. Don't be mistaken, there is a substantial learning curve in photography, and producing a good picture demands time and effort. On the way to that good picture, you're going to produce a lot of stinkers, but you're going to produce some photographs that you're happy with, or at least that you think are pretty good. This is in stark contrast to traditional drawing, which often involves producing a seamlessly endless succession of the worst fucking drawings you have ever seen before achieving anything that even comes close to being something that you like. If you've never ventured into photography beyond casual family snapshots, challenge yourself to take 10 well-composed photos each day for a month. As the month concludes, add one more, increasing the daily count to 11. Keep this practice going indefinitely. If you're feeling really adventurous, take one of the photos that you take one time a week and use it as inspiration to write a poem. You don't have to share these with anybody. These can be totally for you, and that's totally cool. I guarantee that if you do this routine will bring you immense joy and satisfaction. And it will also strengthen your creative muscle. What you'll also find eventually, after you take enough photos, is that you're going to find one that's so good you can't help but show it off. And that's the end. I hope that you had a wonderful listening experience. I'm sure that you found my voice soothing and captivating, much like you always do. If you thought this was pretty cool or you like what I'm doing here, feel free to subscribe. If you are in the New Hampshire area and you want to collaborate or do something, I would love to meet fellow creators in the area. If you're in the area, let me know. I'd love to work with you. All right. Bye.